Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome to the year 2018. And like I said, um, very first thing I wanted to do, start off this year, is talk about my worst and the best films I've seen in 2017. And because like I said, usually I do it always at the end of every year, but I just didn't have time to me trying to figure out what order I want, which is which. So. But hey, it wasn't exactly on time, but as long as I make it at the start of this year, it was fine though. So anyway, but yeah. So start off is the worst that I've seen in 2017, and there was another load bunch of this year. So let's get right down to it. And also, so usually I think I thought I'd go with my go with top 11 this time. I think I did last year. I think I did top 11 because I always add one more to it. So, but yeah, so top 11. But I just feel like adding in there because so. So here's the, here's the first here's once again I'm trying to my words again. But here's number 11 starting off with the worst of 2017, number 11. Right? So as all you can see, the number 11 would be Leatherface. I just got this DVD. Got this DVD. I did it on my post Christmas DVD update. What can I say? Useless. And just like right here, um, the best Texas Chainsaw film since the original. Right there. I call horse crap or horse shit, whatever. And another one. Another study one here keeps the legend alive. It's just another useless prequel. What has been taken about the tale of Leatherface that hasn't been done already? Well, first of all, we got a shitty 2006 prequel back in 2006, the beginning. I did not like that prequel. Then there was, well, then 2013, supposed to be the true sequel, which is not Texas Chainsaw 3D. I don't know. This is probably nothing. Is this do we honestly care about when Leatherface was like when he was a teenager and it started as his young youth and all that? Ah, this is what it's done to me. Just tells me about all the bullcrap this has in it. I mean, I'll give more details though when I do a full rant on this. I'm just allergic to bullshit. That's what it is. I'm allergic to all this bullshit I have right here. But I will get more of the details when I explain the full rant on this. But the cast was not much. The score is forgettable. Um, Stephen Dorff, I like Stephen Dorff, but I think he's doing the take and play on the role of the crazy sheriff in Devil's Rejects. You know how there was William Forsythe, who was after those crazy maniacs, but at the same time he was an asshole as well. That was basically what Stephen Dorff was doing because his daughter was killed by Leatherface, which so in the beginning, like the daughter was stupid anyway, and to go follow Leatherface and he gets her ass killed, so that's why he's after her because he's after the whole family because his daughter died from stupidity from Leatherface. I think all these crazy these inmates and it's just like just this. this is all just a long, boring tale how he became of how this guy became Leatherface. We don't care about this. We already established all these. The original the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a classic, and Toby Cooper, rest in who died last year. I can say that now because 2018 now. I have this no and why is this such a all? I'm tired of all this. Basically, what I'm saying is I'm tired of seeing all these milking this whole milking franchise like this that just are not unnecessary, not needed, not wanted. Like, which is another one I'll get to on this list with another horror icon. And next year we're getting another Halloween film, but Jamie Lee Curtis coming back, and I explain some reasons why about that when I first heard about it in one of my vlogs on the movie news. Why? There's this time when franchises need just to die and get new franchises coming along. Stop keep bringing up old franchises. They're just milking it just for the sake of money and all that stuff. But they're not gonna learn. So, but I'll get to reasons why. I'll get this more into a rant though. But Texas Chainsaw, Leatherface. Honestly, the same title, which Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is a much better movie than this. I don't mind number 3, but Leatherface in the title obviously is miles better than this. Because I like Kate Hodge and I like Ken Foray. And I also like Viggo Mortensen. But I don't want to waste too much time on this one. But I'll get to when I do like a solo rant on this. But Leatherface is used. That's what I want to get to. I don't want to get too much into it because on ones I have not reviewed yet, I want to save when I do my solo reviews on those. But there's on here I've done a couple on, but this one, Leatherface, is just a big pile of nothing. A useless prequel, which we don't need another prequel anyway to tell a story about Leatherface and how he became to be, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. We don't need that. The remake, I would say, is already better than this. From 2003. And best Texas Chainsaw Massacre since the original? No. There's nothing good. You want to say the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre since the original? Toby Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986. The late Dennis Hopper and Bill Moseley. That's the best one. That's the best one since the original. And that's from the same director, Toby Hooper. May he rest in peace. So anyway, moving on. Yeah, Leatherface. That's number 11. So now moving on to number 10. Yeah, I know. I'm probably gonna catch hell for this one. So yeah, Stephen King's It, which if people don't like this movie, they're already making fun of the title. So I might as well use it as well. Stephen King's shit. That's what a lot of people do. If a lot of people don't like the movie, that's what they're probably using it as the title for. So yeah, why not me? Why don't I just add more to the fun to it? Yeah, but It. But I will say I'll probably catch up for this one. I say it's an overrated movie. A lot of people love the movie when it came out. I remember when I first saw the I didn't the first time on opening weekend. No, it was like sometime after. But on the opening one, because I was seeing a different movie around that time when it came out, and I remember seeing people bring the red balloons and all that stuff. But just want to point out that because some people are looking forward to this. I mean, if people like the movie, that's fine. I have nothing against anyone who likes the movie. This is just from my perspective. I just think it's overrated. And Bill Skarsgård. I thought he was just horrible as Pennywise. He was just horrible. He was not. A lot of people say he's so scary. I never found him scary, not once. Nothing this movie made was scary at all to me. And my brother, to me, the one true Pennywise will always be Tim Curry. My brother just laughs at Tim Curry. He's laughable. Tim Curry, when I was a kid, scared the shit out of me back in that day. When I first saw it, when I was like very little. The one true the one scene which was much better than this, which the whole thing with Georgie in the gutter when Tim Curry did this, that one scene alone when I was a little kid scared the crap out of me. So that Pennywise was scarier than this, which yeah, with Georgie, when he bangs his head, like he can't see where he's going, like it's a cartoon, and when you see when in the TV series when you see what happens when it attacks Georgie with Tim Curry's version, you don't see it, but it's implied though. Might messed him up though. But here, we did get more vicious in this, where he rips his arm off and all that. And Bill Skarsgård, I think he's just so he's nowhere near what Tim Curry performed. He gave it a much more fun performance. How he enjoyed taunting the kids when even when they were adults in the second part of the miniseries. It's just it's a one performance. Like it's just always trying to be scary and scary and scary, not trying to land the mood. Just straightforward scary. I know that's supposed to the whole point. Cause personally, I've read a few Stephen King books, but I never read the It novel. So they say the film was supposed to be more closer to the novel. I've not read the novel personally, so I wouldn't know nothing about it. But the kids I overall didn't care for except for the girl. I didn't care. That was like the only character I liked was the girl, uh, Beverly. That was her name was. I thought she was only the kid out of the bunch. I thought was good. Um, the rest of the kids was I think the one was the funny the one that was supposed to be the them from the mini series, the young Seth Green, Richie, the one that was supposed to be the funny guy. And this one I thought was unlikable and not funny at all. The rest of the kids didn't care. I just never cared for them. Well, I didn't care for them at all still, but and there's a lot of stuff. The moments with bad CGI. I remember for one scene for like there was like this painting with the waves was really squish and all that, and that's bad. That was such bad CGI. Bill Skarsgård, he's the main problem. He's the star of the movie. The title was not scary or nothing. I never got nothing from this Pennywise. Nothing. What some people he's better than Tim Curry. What is it so better about Tim Curry? Because he looks scarier and delivers more of the scares to some people, not to me because he didn't scare me. But still. But none of all this matters now because it's the highest grossing horror film of all time now. They broke box office records. And now we're going to do the sequel because it's supposed to be Liam when the adults now in the part 2. I don't know if I'm seeing the part 2. I'll just watch the miniseries. Because with the miniseries, the characters were more established more. I felt there was more of a relationship with the characters, how they're bonded together as the loser group, or was the loser club, I think it was. And Tim Curry, he was always that was the one scene doesn't scare me now. With when I saw as a kid though, it doesn't scare me now though. But just Tim Curry, he was having a fun time. I'll kill you all. Just but and with the Bill Skarsgård, some people like the way he did his voice for it. I don't see what was that so good about it. Tim Curry didn't have to alter his voice. He just had it acted naturally with his voice. To me, yeah, that's what I said. But I'll get to it when I get. But like I said, when I do a solo rant on it, I'll get more into it. I'm just getting more reasons, some quick pointouts of why I did not like about it. There are some moments of bad scene. I think for one thing, with the red balloon. Speaking of the red balloons I mentioned earlier, I think they use CGI balloons. I mean, if they were CGI balloons, I was like, couldn't afford like. For real balloons just float in the air. Really, is that how cheap we gone to let CGI balloons float by? I might miss it if there were real balloons. That just It shows how far I gone with the CGI. We have to cheapen it even more by making. We can't afford to let a real balloon float by and all that stuff. We have to let a CGI balloon float by. But yeah, I think this is it. I think this is overrated. It is so overrated. I don't get the high praise for it. Stephen King, he praised the film. That's his opinion though, because it's based on his own book, of course. But I disagree. I don't. I mean, so if people love the movie, that's fine. I'm not gonna make fun of nobody for it. So, but this is for my personal opinion. I know I'll probably catch hell for it though, but I just don't think it is not as marvelous or great as people think it is. To me, I just think it's overrated as hell. But that's just me being generous. This is me being generous. It's not further down more on my list. So just be lucky. It's not the worst I've seen. But I knew what I was expecting when I first heard when they were making the movie about it, and when I first saw the teaser. So yeah. So that's number 10. It. So now number 9. So yeah. So number 9. Baywatch. Outrageous. Dwayne and Zach are the perfect comedy duo. Straight up hilarious fun. This film was completely unfunny at all, and and this is what I remember nothing from the original Baywatch. I watched only 1 or 2 episodes of the original Baywatch with David Hasselhoff. I don't never saw it being anything like this. Only a one. I remember I specifically one episode of the old Baywatch show with David Hasselhoff. One episode I specifically remembered, it was dealing with a giant electric eel. That's definitely one of the main things I remember about that show was dealing with a giant electric eel. And I probably said this to me. That's to me. It's like the best episode to me because I already watched the Baywatch episode though. But I remember the show being nothing like this though, like straight action comedy. And was the comedy? The jokes were so unfunny. Seth Gordon. I didn't care for horrible bosses. I mean Dwayne Johnson. Uh, well, I'll get to that, but I didn't care for Zac Efron. The rest of the cast I didn't care for. Especially with the comedy jokes. Like, first off, there's like someone's building a sand castle with Dwayne Johnson's image, and make the his dick bigger on the sand castle. I was like, yeah, bigger dick. Yeah, I mean, like straight out of the first shot of the opening of the movie, we have to hear about that. Someone has to build a bigger dick on the sandcastle of Dwayne Johnson, and then one of the younger guys wants to be a lifeguard, the chubby guy, who gets his crotch caught in between 2 planks, and it was like 5 or 6 minutes, like above Winston trying to get out of it. I was like, this is Baywatch. I'm just imagining the original show, and this is like this. This is the original show from back in the day. No, none of that had not all this dumb humor in it, and then being an action movie, there's a like I said, be like detectives and find out this whole drug operation, and one scene they had to examine a body in a morgue, and we literally had to see a dead bodies. Yeah, digging balls basically, and Dr. Everyone has to touch it, and this is what the original this is what the original Baywatch is supposed to be about, and then when they're hiding in the morgue, there was like just fluid that's dripping on Zac Efron's face. It was like, what did he say? Like, was it body fat that Dwayne Johnson was saying? It just was on, and This is some of the worst. This is some of the worst. It's definitely one of the. It's. I think I recall. No, actually, no. This is like this is one of the worst comedies I've seen this year. There's another one that I'm getting into, but Dwayne Johnson. Now this and another movie that stars Dwayne Johnson. Now I'm very concerned about Rampage. I know I've said before when I saw my trailer thoughts on that video. I said about talk about Rampage, that it looks like a generic monster movie, even though it's based on the video game, though. But we see like a small version of King Kong with the wolf and Ralph the wolf and Lizzie the crocodile, which like God, I know that's just now with this and the other movie. Now I don't look forward to seeing Rampage because I just think just Dwayne Johnson is now going on a downward spiral now, and that's because I like Dwayne Johnson. You know, I enjoy Dwayne Johnson. I enjoy him from the Rundown and the Fast and Furious. His appearance in the Fast and Furious movies, I like him in as the character Hobbs. I enjoy Dwayne Johnson, but just this film, the next film, and I don't look forward to seeing um, um, Rampage. Last year in 2016, I like Central Intelligence, but to me that's better comedy than this though. But at least I had Central Intelligence had some moments of levity and a little bit of heart to it, I would say, but nothing in this. All the characters, like Zac Efron, wants to get her, and the chubby girl wants to get her, and that's basically it for those characters. Zac Efron didn't care for because he has 2 gold medals. I don't care. He has 2 gold medals. You know, just throw the gold medals back in the sea like he did originally in the movie. David Hasselhoff and Pam Anderson are just there just for cameos because it's Baywatch. So yeah, shitty comedy, unfunny. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention about the boat scene. When this boat is on fire, when Dwayne Johnson has to save him, fake CGI fire. Why can't we just do it on a real boat and actually be on fire? On a real location of a boat and that's actually on fire. The fire was so fake as hell. I could clearly see fake embers, CGI fire right in front of us. I don't want to just talk. When I do a rant on this, then I'll get into why. Yeah. Number 9, Baywatch. Now number 8, The Mummy, starting with Tom Cruise. It's now I saw this with now this one I did see with my theater with my brother. Tom Cruise was the only thing I kept on watching though. Other than that though, it was this very boring mummy movie. The 1999 film with Brendan Fraser, miles better than this. And speaking of, yeah, I did a little burp there because it makes me want to burp all this thing. Yes, the 1999 the mummy film with Brendan Fraser is much better. And speaking of, you do see the cameo appearance of the Book of Amon-Ra, the Golden Book from the 1999 movie. It's supposed to be sort of canon in a way. But Tom Cruise is another problem. I think he was good for his performance though, but with his character and the whole thing with this female mummy, her. I know this whole thing about the bringing in the dark universe of all the Universal monsters. Well, this film bombed in badly in the U.S. Yeah, it made over 400 million worldwide, barely making over 400 million worldwide. But domestically, about 80. I think it was made 80 million in the U.S. on a budget of 125 million. That's not good. So yeah, they've been talking that this franchise is done for after this, and I know they were making on some other stuff, but like the Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein, and then Frankenstein, and this film failed critically and box office wise. I think they're not gonna do this anymore because of this, and there was also another one time with Dracula Untold back in 2014 that failed as well. So Kurt Russell Crowe, I meant to say, when he plays Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right there. I thought it was another good there was another highlight of the movie. Him and Tom Cruise, they were good together. I like the fight between him and Tom Cruise was fighting him when he became Mr. Hyde. I like that. Well, you do get a little Easter eggs, as when Tom Cruise was being brought in, you saw like the creature from the Black Lagoon claw. I think he saw a skull of a wolf man, or was it Dracula? I forget though. But yeah, the girl Annabella Wallace, never cared for her. I didn't buy the whole thing between between her and Tom Cruise. Jake Johnson. Oh, he was a buddy of Tom Cruise. When he gets killed, he gets like possessed and stabs Courtney B. Vance. He's only in it for that role. That's it. Um, and I noticed something that Tom Cruise is, because he now has this power, the powers the whether it's influenced by the mummy, the female mummy, that he sees his dead friend and it's just talking to him, and it's also supposed to be get some funny moments like, oh, you're in the woman's bathroom. It's trying to be funny like that. It's like American Werewolf in London. Remember how with David Naughton, his buddy gets killed, and he's talking to him in the version when he's like all mutilated and stuff, and he's also skeleton like and talking to him, talking, and also gives him comedic moments as well. Same thing they do with this with Jake Johnson and Tom Cruise. And it's the CGI of the whole thing of London doing this scene here where she's making London go to crap, and now like by then Tom Cruise has these powers, and they put the movie back in the casket, and they're waiting on what's happened next because it's supposed to be making more of the Dark Universe. But I think that's not gonna happen now. So yeah, this Alex Kurtzman. I know a while back when the time when this was released, and he says something. It was like it's not about. I think it said it's not about what the audience wants. It's about, I forget. It was something like that though, and this was something like there was Kurtzman. So it was something Kurtzman was talking out of his ass, something like that. Yeah, the Mummy. It's just, yeah, it's supposed to bring a new universe in. Not every, but I don't know, because the Marvel universe, now the DC universe, and now the Conjuring. There was even the Conjuring universe as well. Everything we had to try to make a whole new every universe franchise, but this film failed, and I think this sunk this whole franchise. So, because I heard they were gonna do a Bride of Frankenstein, given a release date for 2019, I think, but they moved it, and I think indefinitely, and now there's no release date for that. So, yeah, I think they're not going through with this franchise anymore. So, yeah, this was supposed to start it off. It failed. It sunk the franchise. This upcoming franchise I'm never gonna see now, and I think wisely so. This film, I'd rather watch the 1990 film. The 2001 sequel, The Mummy Returns, is much better than this. Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe were the only thing I were good about it, but the rest of the film was not. I don't want to talk about this. This is when I do a rant on this, I'll give more. But it was a shitty mummy movie. That's what it is. Shitty mummy movie. And next, that was number 8. Next to number 7. Now I've already reviewed this film, and I got so much shit for reviewing this, because everybody loved Wonder Woman, and if you don't be part of that crowd, screw you. I'm sorry, I'm not wrong for what I have to say. All right, I do not like Wonder Woman. All right, I didn't. I've all most of the whole DC universe has not gotten off that well. I did not like Man of Steel. I hated Batman v Superman. I did not like Suicide Squad. This film and the next one is right next after this one. This is number 7. Next one's number 6, and that will be Justice League when I get to that. This whole universe, they should stop with this whole DC universe. You know, it was because I don't like DC. I like DC. I enjoyed Christopher Reeve's Superman films, except for Quest for Peace, number 4. Um, Michael Keaton's ones, Tim Burton's Batman and Batman Returns. Batman Forever was alright still. I don't want to get into about Batman and Robin, but I like those Batman films. I like a lot of the DC animated films. I like Flashpoint Paradox. That's one of my favorites. I like the Green Lantern movie First Flight. Superman and Batman Superman Public Enemies. That's another good one. I like a lot of the DC animated films. The Batman animated series from back in the day from the 90s. I grew up watching Batman the animated series. I love that was one of the things that introduced me to DC growing up, was that animated series, watching every Saturday night. And I know that because when episode that ends, coming up next was Scooby-Doo. So yeah, I love the Batman animated series from the 90s. So don't give me this whole thing that I don't like DC. I like the 2011 Green Lantern movie, Ryan Reynolds. I favor that movie over this, or Justice League that's not coming out next. Sue me. I like the one with Ryan Reynolds. I don't care how much all that hate that film got. I found that film entertaining, more than this. Ryan Reynolds was a lot better than Gal Gadot. I hated her as Wonder Woman. She sucked. All right. I didn't like Chris Pine either. And it was like Captain America: The First Avenger, with the whole World War. Except this had more. Of course, Zack Snyder didn't direct this; he produced it though. But he influenced all of his slow mo stuff that he put into like all his previous ones. Every 30 seconds there was always a slow mo in the action scenes, and then even the action scenes sucked. I think I said the action scenes sucked because everything was the slow mo was so overbearing. It was just, why can't you just do it straight without using the slow mo? The villains were lame. Danny Houston, snorting up like something that's to make it snort like it's freaking cocaine. Oh, I'm stronger. This woman, she has like this mask, like to cover her face, and was like going Phantom of the Opera style, because she's ugly, so she has to cover it up like Phantom of the Opera, except it was like over here, and that Phantom was like up there. And the whole villain, the whole twist of Ares was the villain the whole time. Is the CGI so much of the bad CGI, and Chris Pratt, Chris Pine. Even if Chris Pratt didn't star, even if Chris Pratt starred in this, wouldn't save the movie. Didn't mean to say that. Man, Chris Pine, when he does the self-sacrifice in a plane for preventing the stuff spewing out, going to London. It's basically what Captain America did in the first Avenger. Except he had to land the plane in the ice, hence freezing himself. Almost the same thing, but except he landed, froze himself, and except Chris Pine, explosion. And even the team that goes on with this journey, they're also reject of the Howling Commandos from Captain America: The First Avenger. Really, it's almost kind of like that. I don't know why I got a whole lot of hate for why I did not like Wonder Woman. Why? It's all my opinion. I never make fun of nobody. If they like Wonder Woman, that's fine. I'm not gonna make fun of nobody for it. They like the movie, that's fine. My brother, he liked it, and he got pissed at me for not liking it. I'm not wrong for what I have to say. It's all my opinions. This is my worst of the films list. Okay, and I thought this was gonna be in my top 3, but I changed my mind because there were some things that were worse than Wonder Woman. I still think it's overrated. Next to It, all of them got like 97% of Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't think to me it deserves it. I think they're both overrated, and they're both Warner Brothers as well. So yeah, I'm not gonna go too much because I've already said what I liked, and you check out my rant on Wonder Woman. I'm not gonna follow the crowd, okay? Because everybody loved it doesn't mean I'm gonna follow it. Because after what Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and then Suicide Squad, and then following next after this, which is which is coming up after this with Justice League. Gal Gadot, she sucked. Okay, to me, she sucked. I think okay, someone else be a better Wonder Woman. I don't know who, but I don't want to waste my energy. You can just check out my review on my rant on Wonder Woman. I don't get why I got someone here, but it's my opinion. I can hate whatever I want on it. Like I said, it's because I like DC. I like DC stuff. I've already said some of the things that are DC that I liked. I just don't like this whole franchise, of the extended universe. So it shows are desperately trying to catch up to Marvel, and they failed. All this is rush. Anyway, I don't get to it. So the Wonder Woman is number 7, and I just want to get into it. Because it's like this one is basically connected to the next one. So this one, next one, number 6. Yeah. So the next one is the next DC film that came out earlier, towards at the end of in November of 2017, Justice League. I said about DC stuff that I like, and I would rather watch the 2011 Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie over both of these. This one was worse than Wonder Woman, but still Gal Gadot, she still sucked in this film as well. What was that? Wherever that kid's name who played Flash? I hated the guy who played Flash. I thought it was so annoying and stupid. The stupid stuff that he's trying to be funny with was atrocious. The guy who plays Cyborg, he was just. I never seen such a bland as a blandish as hell looking superhero I've seen. The look of Cyborg was just awful. First of all, I never one of the very few DC characters I do not know crap about. I never cared about Cyborg. He's one of the ones I never gave a crap about it in this film at all. I never cared about Cyborg, and the design of it was awful. Joe Morton, who plays the Cyborg's father, it's cool to see him in there for the little role that he had. Ben Affleck as Batman. He was given nothing to do. I know this is the stuff they said he wanted but he wants to leave, which I wouldn't blame him for not leaving, but he can't, I guess, because he's stuck with his contract, I guess. But if he did want to leave, I don't blame him, because just looking at him, shows how much he cares, and I like Ben Affleck. I enjoy a lot of movies with Ben Affleck. Especially also, he's a good director as well. There was talks of him directing a Batman movie, and I think not anymore. Why? Maybe Ben Affleck gone to the directing chair like he did some other good movies that he's done. Maybe maybe make some enlightenment about it. But no, I don't think he's not directing the solo Batman movie. Jason Momoa sucked as Aquaman. I never cared about Jason Momoa's his role in Bullet to the Head with Stallone sucked. He was a shitty Conan the Barbarian, the 2011 remake. And him, I never cared for him as Aquaman either. Um, this film was a CGI overload of a CGI. It was a CGI porn fest. That's basically what it was. That's what basically it was, CGI porn fest. Especially with the whole everything with the whole exposition about Steppenwolf, which he was a lame villain as well. But the whole scene with him, with his first fight with Steppen back in the day, about Steppenwolf in the flashback, and then the finale, CGI overload. Steppenwolf, he was just one of the lamest superhero villains I've seen. Um, and then again with Superman. So first, like with Flash and Cyborg, grave robbing his grave now so they can bring him back to life. um, the whole finale with the parademons with Steppenwolf was just. I think with the budget was like $300 million for a $300 million budget film. It seems like it was some of the worst CGI I've seen all year. Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok, the visuals on those were miles better looking than this, and those were below 300 million, and they were so colorful looking, very colorful in the visuals in both those movies. Here, it was all bland and dull and washed out colors. Like take with Ego's planet in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. When they first arrive on Ego's planet, very colorful, like when Drax touches a bubble and bursts with colorful bubbles and all that stuff. Colorful and good looking visual effects. Here, I get this is like the total opposite. It was just bland and dull and washed out colors. Bad CGI. The whole cast sucks basically. Ben Affleck, he's trying the best he can as Batman, but he's given nothing to do. And it's just fun. It's just funny that with the whole finale with Steppenwolf, it's basically all of them are getting their butts kicked by Steppenwolf until Superman comes in. Yeah, without him, they would all just gotten their asses beat and basically would have died. Well, I'm not sure about one of them, but I'll say all of them could have died. But if it wasn't for Superman, then they would have lost. This is your Justice League. Yeah. And I can tell this whole thing of Justice League is rushed because it's supposed to be like the DC's Avengers. They're so desperate trying to catch up with the Marvel films. They took the time to build up each and every of the films they did until Avengers and until the next and the next, and if the trailer for Infinity War is better than anything in this movie. Characters, most of those characters I enjoy, like from Captain America, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth's Thor, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, and everybody else. So, and it's also said this film for the Justice League has been building up for a long time, right? And it's the lowest grossing of the extended universe. It's the lowest grossing film, below Man of Steel, which was like over 600 something though, but still it was like Justice League is below Man of Steel, and that's sad. All the other films have made more than Justice League. So if film the whole Justice League coming together, a film called Justice League, and it's the lowest grossing one. And even Wonder Woman made over 800 million. That's a solo film about Wonder Woman. Here, with everybody in it, it's the lowest grossing. And both the Avengers films, like the first one and then Age of Ultron, more than doubled what this overall total is for Justice League. Ultron is miles better. Everybody hated Ultron in that movie even my brother hated Ultron. He's miles better than Steppenwolf. This Ultron could beat the shit out of Steppenwolf. Because first of all, James Spader, phenomenal performance as Ultron. First off, love the lines he's given. James Spader was fantastic as Ultron. I'll probably say he's probably the most underrated superhero villains. I would say, because a lot of people don't like Ultron. My brother doesn't like Ultron, but I love Ultron. Because my brother didn't like Ultron because he wasn't like in the comics as a murderous psychopathic robot. Instead, he was supposedly what he calls Ultron, a robot version of Tony Stark, basically. So yeah, Ultron's miles better than Steppenwolf. This is the best I can do. This is exactly what I wanted. All of you against all of me. How can you possibly hope to stop me? I love that line from James Spader. Just Steppenwolf has no memorable lines at all. He's just a bland as hell villain. So yeah, I want to do a full list of solo rant on that. I'll save all that up though. But yeah, that's number 6, Justice League. Next, number 5. This is the second film that starred Dwayne Johnson. Which after that, like I said before, with Baywatch and this, now I'm now concerned and now losing my interest in Rampage now. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. It's supposed to be it's a standalone sequel to the first film. Now my brother and his friend and me, we saw this one in the theater. Everybody was laughing. I never got one laugh out of this. Okay, first off, with the characters from the real world, I found nothing likable about them. To me, I never cared for them. They reach of a cliche type of person, you know, the nerd, the jock, non-socialistic girl, and then the typical one, who basically loves herself, you know, basically. And it's like, you know, like, oh, when they're moving stuff, oh, are you gonna stand there, or are you just too pretty? I'm just too pretty. That type of girl. And the whole thing, you know, is just with what I loved about the 1995 film about Jumanji with Robin Williams. It was just the film had some heart to it with the characters. I got nothing. I felt no heart out of this. When they get sucked into the game with they're playing their characters. And I know one thing that people laughed about. Okay, everyone was laughing at this scene. I just think it was completely utterly stupid, not funny at all. Because the girl who was like all too pretty, she becomes Jack Black. And Jack Black he's talking like all feministic because that's the girl. He's like like that, and this was why I lost it at this point here for this film, which makes me think, well, this makes me think about with this and inside with the Jumanji, you know, and because Jack Black as the girl finds out she considers that now she's a guy, she has, you know, you know what, instead of female parts, and they're all like Kevin Hart and like Dwayne Johnson, they're all teaching Jack Black how to piss. That's what I want in a Jumanji movie, especially when I'm looking back on the one with Rob Williams. We all come lead up to this: a girl who's playing a guy, needs to be taught how to piss. And then later on, when a guy from the beginning who also gets sucked in the game previously, is now played the guy, this character now played by Nick Jonas, from the Jonas Brothers. When Jack Black saves his life, and he gives up one of his Jack Black gives up one of his lives up for to save this guy, and then they'll mention, oh look, he's got a boner. This is why I want from a Jumanji movie. So, learning how to piss and getting a boner, yeah. And also with Kevin Hart, I've never cared for Kevin Hart. I never thought he was that funny. The one film I thought he was most decent was Central Intelligence, also starring with Dwayne Johnson. Because he's supposed to be the jock and he's tall, and of course they're all making fun because the joke is making fun of Kevin Hart's size because he's short. What happened to my 2 feet tall? Or him carrying the backpack. I'm not jumping there. I didn't jump in water with a backpack. And then also he explodes because he eats cake. And then he says a line because he's riding on a CGI elephant. He says, "Zoology, bitch." And also one point, even more to make me not like Kevin Hart's the character, because it's the jock who inside the character pushes Dwayne Johnson off because they called him dumbass, and he just pushes him off the cliff, and he's like, oh, that's fine, he's got another life. So that's more reason not to like Kevin Hart. Dwayne Johnson, because it's the nerdy guy in the big, strong, muscular body, and when Jack Black, because the girl Jack Black, no, says, oh, I think that's a man. He says something like that, and then Dwayne is like, oh, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And then we'll think with the Karen Gillan, who plays Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the non-socialistic girl. They have to make a distraction for 2 guards are waiting, and Jack Black is the girl as Jack Black, teaching this one girl how to look hot and all that, and flirt and all that, like tossing her hair and learning how to walk like a girl and all that, and it just defeats the purpose of what all this what I'm talking about is just defeats the whole thing of what the original Jumanji was, like with Robin Williams' character when he was a kid and got sucked into the game, and when he came out of it, like he was explained to the kids, like I've seen things that you've seen your nightmares and all that stuff, right? Well, when we're in the game now, and I've seen nothing like something as sinister as what he said. We see a hippo, and we see a herd of rhinos, a couple of jaguars, and for most of the part of the movie, it's just bad guys on motorcycles shooting machine guns. And Van Pelt it's a completely different Van Pelt, not like the one from the original. Wherever happened to that Van Pelt from 1995, which is supposed to be like a representation of Robin Williams' father. He's like, good lad, you're finally acting like a man. That film, the 1990 film, had heart to it. I love the original Jumanji. It's a classic. Robin Williams, rest in peace. To me, this is an insult to Robin Williams' memory for the Jumanji movie. And there's also in Jumanji, they also have some practical effects as well. Here, there's none of that. Bad CGI. This film is a hit. It's all already making 300 million worldwide. I think it's already surpassed the first film already. Critical, domestically and box office worldwide. This film also got like a 77% Rotten Tomatoes. This film got passed from critics. It's just I don't get it. I'll save all that stuff for later. But yeah, number 5, Jumanji. Welcome to the Jungle. I don't like this is insult to Robin Williams' memory, and it's a sequel that never should have been made anyway. Because do we honestly cared about the sequel? Well, people do, because people laughed and they saw it, and now it's making money. Of course. And just Dwayne Johnson, sorry, Baywatch sucked, and now this film sucked, and with this, I'm just losing my interest in Rampage. I know I've stated things like how it's a generic monster movie and all that stuff, though, but like we see in other monster movies and disaster films, but well, I'm just losing interest in Rampage very fast now. So after seeing these two films this year, I love Dwayne Johnson, but just uh, well, one performance that they did like when he was in the latest Fast and Furious film. So at least that's something, but still. But anyway, yeah, that's number 5. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. Now next. This is supposed to. I said it was supposed to be. This was supposed to be number 3, but there was another. There were the other two, or one other one that I forgot, and that moved up to number 4. So, Cult of Chucky. This one's gonna be much shorter though, because I'll get into my rant on this piece of crap. This one is so infuriating. Main problem is Don Mancini. Stay away from this freaking franchise. Ruined Chucky enough as it is. Can't write, can't direct. Seed sucked. Seed of Chucky sucked. Curse of Chucky sucked, and now this sucks. This is why I'm more pissed off because of this. Taking a good franchise. The first 3, Child's Play classic. Number 2, good sequel. Number 3, also a good sequel. And that's when it ends there. Because Bride Chucky, I thought it was still alright though, but it's still not that great. Then came Sea of Chucky, that sucked. Curse Chucky sucked. This film sucks more. Don Mancini is the main problem in this film. Just stay with from this franchise. Brad Dourif, I could tell that he's not caring about doing any more of these anymore. It's just like he's now bored of doing these Chucky films. Especially the lines he's given, you can tell he's all bored of it now. More characters like Jennifer Tilly. I'm tired of seeing Jennifer Tilly in this. I'm tired of seeing her. And Fiona Dorff, who Brad Dourif's daughter in this film, I thought she was all right in Curse of Chucky. She still is. I thought she's doing the best she can in this one as well. Alex Vincent, who plays Annie Barkley from the first 2. Well, not count number 3 because it's a different actor though, but still, Alex Vincent. It was a waste of Alex Vincent, and I thought they were going to do much more. I thought it was going to do more with Alex Vincent's character of Annie Barkley, but no. So yeah, there's some good practical gore pieces, but that's not enough to save the movie. The effects are much lower than what they are in the previous films. Like I would say up to like 2 and 3, because the effects of Chucky in number 2 were great, and people complain about the effects of Chucky in number 3. I don't see why. I thought there were solid effects on number 3. Then Curse of Chucky with some elements of CGI. Then the way this doll looks now of Chucky. I don't want to talk more about this. This film's just pissing me off more. When I do a fuel rage on this film, then you'll get more why. But I was just saving this just to point out. The main problem is Don Mancini. That's the main problem with this film. Stop making more Child's Play films. Stop it already. Done with that. I want to just quickly move on, because otherwise I'll save all that stuff next time when I do a real rant on that. But that's number 4. This is why I moved Cult of Chucky on, because of this. Because I ranted on this film already. Power Rangers. To me, I think it's another insult to something that I grew up watching as a kid. They could tell they wanted that franchise for this, and this film bombed badly. I'm glad for. I didn't care for the way these suits looked. The fight scenes were terrible. most of these characters and who plays the characters from the original show, the names of the original show, I think except for the character who plays Billy, the Blue Ranger, I thought he was the best of the bunch. The rest of them I never cared for. Bryan Cranston I liked as Zordon though, but at the times that they wrote the script wrote Zordon as a complete douchebag. Um, CGI was terrible. Like especially when Goldar, oh my god, that was such a horrendous sight to see for Goldar, especially when you watch the show. And also, in Rita is even worse. Elizabeth Banks, I'm sorry, she failed as Rita, especially when she was so when she was trying to building Goldar up, and oh by the way, she was a Green Ranger back then because she has the Green Stone, I think, for the Power Coin. And when she wants to where finds where the Morphing Crystal is, right, trying to get them for trying to find the Morphing Crystal to raise the power or whatever, and where Billy he found out where it was, and he has to tell her, "Where is it? It's a Krispy Kreme." Biggest product placement I've seen. One of the biggest product placements right there I've seen. This all this all was saying this Power Rangers brought to you by Krispy Kreme donuts. And I mean she goes like, and this shows how I can't take this Rita seriously when they bring up Krispy Kreme donuts all the time. Where is this Krispy Kreme? And it's like, oh, there you are, Krispy Kreme. And she's even in the store while the fight's going on. She's in the store eating a Krispy Kreme donut. They're also taking this really seriously. We were talking about Krispy Kreme donuts. And the Megazord was awful looking. It was a Transformers Optimus Prime looking ripoff. What I loved about the original show, yeah, it's people in suits fighting against each other. I'm sorry why I liked that as a kid, because yeah, it's a big budget. We had everything CGI and everything. Because people, if we put these people in suits, people say, "Oh, that's cheap looking. That's fake looking." But so yeah, that's the best way to do it. Cheaper way is doing the CGI role. To me, I love that. I would rather see that I rather see that because I had fun with it watching the show growing up. And yeah, I did get that one chuckle when they got their Zords and they're running towards into town. You heard this little piece of the song that was playing from the 1995 movie, "Go Go Power Rangers." That one piece of the soundtrack song, the rock song of that version of the theme that was playing in the 1995 movie. I did get a chuckle out. I was like, I didn't expect them to play that in the movie. And it was nice to see Amy Jo Johnson and Jason David Frank, played Kimberly and Tommy. Nice to see them as cameos. They were not enough to save the movie. And also Alpha, the design of Alpha that Bill Hader voiced was awful looking, and I thought that Alpha was more annoying. The fights were terrible. Suits were terrible. Zords, not that great. Rita, couldn't take seriously, all because of the Krispy Kreme donut. Even before, but even after, I still couldn't take it seriously. And the Goldar was just horrendous to look at, and also how the Zords morphed together is all because they got pushed in accidentally into the pit. They all fell into the pit together, and that's how they morphed into the Megazord. It's not just Rangers, power up your crystals, and 2, 1, morph, and all that stuff. No, they were trying to guard the crystal, and they all got pushed in together into the pit, and that's how they became together. And now each one, instead of like the control center they have like in the show, and instead of each one individual controls a limb of the Megazord, and like they even fumble for the first time, and they even bitch slapped Rita into space. Literally, a Megazord bitch slapped the villain Rita into space. And even also before the opening of the movie, like the character Jason was doing like a prank with a bull or a cow thing. I think it was something about cow nipples or something like that. And yeah, that's what I was expecting from Power Rangers, about cow nipples and stuff like that. And when he gets into a crash, and then boom, instantly down here, Power Rangers. uh, but I ranted on that movie as is. You can check that out. So I'm not gonna waste my time on this. This film bombed. Didn't need this. They wanted a franchise, but didn't need to. So yeah, I don't waste my time on it. So that's number 3. Screw Power Rangers. Yes. Now this one, yeah, I ran down this not that long ago, so you can check that out. Yeah. This is false advertised. It's not called Alien Covenant. It's called David the movie. That's because that's what it's all about. It's all about David the android. Character I did not like in Prometheus, and this is all about him. He created all the xenomorphs and the eggs because, like I said, for like Ridley Scott, he did not like the idea of when James Cameron's Aliens. He hated the idea of the alien queen, so he got his wish. So he did differently. So it was David, the android, who created the aliens. So much stupidity in this movie. Especially when the opening. Well, first the opening title. They rip off the original movie of the opening titles, and with Jerry Goldsmith's music, and then basically the whole score of this film as it is. Where is this? Who's the score of this? Jed Kurzel. It's basically like a rehashed, recycled version of Jerry Goldsmith's score from Alien, and I don't know more I can say. I don't want to get into it because, like I said, I've already talked about Alien coming out of my review as enough as it is. But Danny McBride, he was the best part, but he was given nothing because he was up on the spaceship the whole time. Um, Billy Crudup, who played Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, stupid as it is, because because Michael Fassbender is David. He really, because he's in love with his alien creations. I'm surprised he didn't want to kiss it. But yeah, because the captain, who he's now the captain now, stupid enough to follow him, saying, "No, how could you?" and follow me, and he's dumb enough to follow him all the way down into this dark cavern, and shows him the eggs. When it opens up, it's like, "Oh, go ahead, look inside." And the guy's dumb enough to look inside and get the and it was David about David. It's just him teaching the good android Walter play the flute and I don't know why this way lost is when he kissed himself. Yeah, David kissed Walter. Basically, Michael Fassbender kissing himself. That was why I was like, this is really Scott who directed the masterpiece of Alien, and we go from that to an android, a duplicate of himself, kissing himself, and then more stupid stuff with the characters like the wife of Dan McBride slipping and falling, and also including the wife of Billy Crudup. They're both slipping and falling on blood like they're idiots, and the one Dan McBride's wife locks the other girl in with the other guy with the backburster or what I think it was. Why she locked him in? Because of quarantine, infection, whatever. Bull crap. She could have let him out. She just wanted to be a douche. But then she starts shooting things with a shotgun with the burst or whatever. She's shooting it all up like an idiot, and she kills herself and blows herself up because she's shooting and can't hit crap with a shotgun. And because of this, as a result, she shoots the ship and blows herself up with it. And then one guy touches one of those things and gets stuff up his nose. Then one other guy, he steps on it though, but and also all because they jeopardized the whole mission of their colonization because they found a message and this planet they did not know nothing about, and the captain's like, "Oh no, let's go over here." Although even though we got 2,000 colonists out to go to our own place, but we had to go to this one because there was a random distress signal that looked like also a good place for colonization. Oh, and that was another best part. James Franco was in for 10 seconds in his cryotube sleeping, and he burns up. That was another one of the things that pissed me off more about this movie. a waste of James Franco. And you see the Disaster Artist is like really good as Tommy Wiseau in Disaster Artist. He's in for 10 seconds and he burns up, including a little video of the guys of his character's wife watching. That was complete. That was like the most waste of any actor I've ever seen, especially a good actor like James Franco. And then they do the then of course when it came with the Xenomorph, which is like 20 minutes towards the end of the movie. That's when the full Xenomorph comes in. Why is this called Alien Covenant when the Xenomorph makes a full appearance like towards the end of the movie? And David, he killed all the engineers because he's a. And also, Numerous Paces was as the character Shaw. And you know, answering questions to Prometheus, you're not gonna get because he killed off the character. This is bad CGI of the Xenomorph. This is bad CGI. And they try to do like the same thing with the ripping off like Alien 3 with the closing the doors, or even though it was also in the first one as well, close the doors as well. And of course, plot twist, downbeat ending when that was supposed to be the whole time you think that was Walter the good android, but no, it was David the bad android. I'm just holding my composure here because I already ranted at it. So I'm gonna unleash some more fury. You can check my big rant, my long rant on that. I'm just here doing it in short details because I don't want to. Well, because when I ended my rant on Alien Covenant, I actually hit the computer screen, and if I do that again, it makes me want to hit the computer screen again. So, all that I said, take all that I've said, and then watch my review of that. Then you'll understand why. This is second worst, because this is an insult to the Alien franchise. This franchise needs to die. Same thing with the Chucky films. Really, Scott, this and Prometheus are his two worst films. It's a shame when he makes a masterpiece of a sci-fi film like Alien, he goes to this shit. So yeah. Screw Alien Covenant. That's it. That's number 2. Now, last one. And now we get to number 1, and this one also pisses me off more. This is on the same level as Alien Covenant, but no, this is Star Wars: Last Jedi. To me, it's as though the whole is what they do with the whole thing we did with Luke Skywalker. That's one of the biggest things that pissed me off about this film. Mark Hamill, I can see why he didn't like what they did with his character. I understand why. Everything's just what they did with Luke Skywalker and Carrie Fisher. May she rest in peace. And the whole thing was this whole silly with her when she gets blown out into space and she does this and she flies in like she's Supergirl, whatever, and it was like whole silly about that though. And the John Boyega plays Finn. First time we see him, he bumps his head like an idiot against the glass, and he's walking around with these things leaking like an idiot. And he was actually one of the characters that I did mind in The Force Awakens. But yeah, Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, I want him out of my face. He's just this is one of the worst villains of this franchise. And also they build the character of Snoke from the previous one, The Force Awakens, to nothing. He's there, does something with Rey, and then Kylo Ren betrays and just kills him and cuts him in half. So yeah, they build this whole Snoke character from The Force Awakens, and it all leads up to nothing. And the whole majority of the film was with Finn with his Asian girl, what's her name, Rose. For a good portion of the movie, that character I never cared for anyway. Benicio, it was also a waste of Benicio del Toro as his character. It was supposed to be like a code cracker or whatever, and then betrays them. So it was a waste of Benicio del Toro. Laura Dern, she's this a resistance woman who's basically a bitch, basically, who does all this stuff. Like one point, like kicks Poe off, and then which leads to Poe up to this mutiny thing, which leads to Norwell because if they would told their plan to him from the start, he would have been fine with it. But then Laura Dern does like this, like the 180 switch where she knows okay, it makes of everything what she done, so she does a self-sacrifice. Boom, destroys this one destroyer ship of by going to light speed, and the whole thing with Luke Skywalker. He was just they made him just a bitter, grumpy old man, old douchebag. But at the end of the First Awakens, when she gives him the lightsaber, just throws it over like nothing. And just bite my teeth because this is an insult of one of the most classic sci-fi characters of all time. And yeah, why I explain this because I saw this with my father because my father ever goes to movies except to see the Marvel films and even the Star Wars stuff. He even said he even agrees with me because this is like it makes the whole original franchise pointless. Everything that leads up to the end of the Return of the Jedi to nothing. Even my dad is in agreement with that. And he did not like what they did with Luke Skywalker. I'm sure a lot of people didn't like this. Oh, this is just pissing me off, because this is what both these are this are number one, number two. It's insults to classic franchises, to the original Star Wars trilogy, and to the Alien franchise. The aliens, basically. And Tyler saying Kylo Ren is him acting like a bitch, and the whole thing what they do with Luke Skywalker, he's as a bitter, grumpy old man doesn't want to teach, and some things with they talking with Yoda, he can shoot a lightning bolt to light a tree on fire, but why doesn't him and other ghosts try to help out and whatever? He can shoot a lightning bolt to take some other bad guys down. and a good portion of with Finn and Rose. I thought it was sort of leading with something with Finn and Rey in the first one, in the Force Awakens. But now they do like a switch where it's Finn with this character named Rose, and then she kisses him. And I originally thought it was gonna be to do with something with Finn and Rey, but no, they do with this Finn and Rose thing. And with Poe, nothing to the Poe character. Well, except they did at the beginning where he just shoot some things on the ship here. Just so done with this. I haven't reviewed I haven't ever reviewed any of the Star Wars films yet because I don't have time to. But this film just made me insult more. I hate The Force Awakens. I haven't reviewed that either. But this is even worse. Especially the Last Jedi is false advertising. It's like you will not be the. It was like when Luke told Kylo Ren, "You will not be the last Jedi." So there is no Last Jedi. The whole title is pointless. There is no Last Jedi yet. There is no Last Jedi. Like he's like Kylo Ren's not the Last Jedi, or even Rey is not the Last Jedi. So it's basically like two Jedis, basically. But oh man. This film just took us. I don't know what I can say about this film. This film made over $1 billion worldwide. I know it's gonna be the highest grossing film of 2017. It will surpass Beauty and the Beast because Star Wars has to be the top film. Well, it wasn't last year. 2016 it wasn't because Captain America: Civil War was. I would say Captain America: Civil War is better than Force Awakens or Rogue One or this film. And especially with Disney, they have to own everybody because they just bought Fox, and they're just juggling too many companies now. They have to deal with Marvel, now they're dealing with Star Wars, now they're dealing with Fox. Which means now they own the Alien franchise and the Predator franchise now. So what are they gonna kidify them now? No, you can't do that. It's Aliens and Predator. Well, maybe because of the X-Men and Fantastic Four. Maybe that's why. To bring in the characters more in the Marvel universe. I think it was a mistake for Disney to buy Fox. They're just juggling too many companies now. Yeah, Warner Brothers owns New Line Cinema, and Columbia was Sony. Yeah, but not no, because Disney wants to be the king of everything now. I'm only surprised they try to buy Warner Brothers or Universal. That's another one, Universal or wherever. The Force Awakens, it just pisses me off so much. If I review the film, I'll get more details. But just the main problem is what I hate what they did with it. That was the biggest insult what they did with Luke Skywalker. That's the biggest insult I've seen, especially to a classic character like Luke Skywalker. Well, they did that. Well, it's even worse than when they pissed me off when they killed Han Solo in The Force Awakens. Killed him off like a bitch, and this is what a great ending to Luke. What a great legacy to Luke. Him being a bitter old man, acting like a douchebag, and until finally bleeds and all that stuff. Whatever. I don't give a crap now. I'm done with this stuff. So that's screw The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi, which there is no Last Jedi. I hate all these movies. So that's my complete list. Leatherface, It, then Baywatch, The Mummy, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, Call of Chucky, Power Rangers, Alien Covenant, and now number 1, Star Wars: Last Jedi. I'm done. I think this is all worth now. On the next one, I can go to review some good ones that I really loved in 2017. Screw all these movies. May they burn in hell. Hell. What was it? I forget what the line was. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was in Young Guns. I think it was Emilio Estevez. I think it was said it. Go to hell. All these films can now. Man. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my complete list of top 11 worst of 2017. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the best ones that I'll be really glad to get into. The best of 2017. But I hope you enjoyed the complete list. Like I said, it's all my opinion, though. If anyone likes any of these movies, feel free to. I won't hold nothing against you. This is all my opinion. So I'll just say, just don't be mean about it. I know I'm gonna catch hell for some of these though, but just say a little more respectful. I've always respected people who they like this movie, but I disagree with, but I don't make fun of or bash anybody for it. This is like, okay, you like the movie? I would disagree. I don't like it, but this is what you believe in. That's it. So, but if you like the film, that's fine. Just be respectful and. Otherwise, what's the point of watching my videos if you're not just gonna bash everybody? So, but yeah. But I hope you enjoyed my complete top 11 worst of 2017. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the best films of 2017. Later.